I have Sonic the Hedgehog AIDS. Tangerine.
Oh,
First up we got Borderlands 3. It looks so crisp. Like it's weird seeing like all the Borderlands art assets with like very high resolution. So like I'm used to playing Borderlands 2, but like
yeah.
actually seeing like super HD claptrap and then thinking about how Randy Pitchford just fucked over all of the voice actors and did
Yep.
so much dirty
That's
shit
always
to all of
good.
the. I don't know. I don't like Randy Pitchford, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff Gearbox he's done with Gearbox, but I still appreciate all the developers behind Gearbox and all the
Yeah.
hard-working people, and I can
I
kind of separate artist and art. So
Yeah, in my
yeah.
opinion, the best way to do it is like talk about the product, but also like just at least reference like something they're doing. Like, I don't think we should get into it here, but I feel
Anyway,
like we should at least mention it.
Borderlands 3. So I enjoyed Borderlands 1. I love Borderlands 2. I think that's
Yeah,
where the series really hit its peak of mixture between fun RPG quests, great story, and just really funny writing. And then
yeah,
I feel like they were like, oh, yes, let's hit another one out. Borderlands, the pre-sequel. And they had like their Australian studio do it, and the humor was very different, and it didn't feel as like good as the Borderlands 2. Um, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like that game wasn't as good as Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 3, I think, is kind of a mixed bag sort of thing. There's stuff I really like about Borderlands 3, and then there's stuff
right.
I'm not a big fan. I think overall, I feel like
Mechanically, it's better, right?
mechanically, the movement in this game is great. There's sliding, there's
Oh my
parkour
god,
style
sliding.
movement. If you haven't played the original Borderlands or Borderlands 2, it's very clunky, slow movement. There's no parkour, there's no
Yeah.
pulling yourself up or sliding or anything. But the movement in this game feels great. So I really, really appreciate that. There's like great quality of life updates for this game. So obviously the graphics are a lot better. They look great. The big one
It
is
does
to
look
do
great, yeah.
the big one is to do a co-op. So there you can play in the original Borderlands mode, which is co-opetition mode, where everyone, if you're like level 30 and you invite a level 5 person into your game, like your friend, they're going to get their ass kicked by level 30 enemies, and then you're going to have to try and protect them. And then also, if you're playing in that mode, and let's say you're the same level, but then items drop, item drops are for everyone on the map, so you're kind of fighting against each other, try and get the loot.
Right, yeah.
Um, that's how it worked in Borderlands 2, which I didn't like because it was very much a point of contention for me and a lot of friends. So,
Yeah.
who got that legendary shotgun or not? So, they've added a new mode which I'm playing in now, which is cooperation mode, where your levels get scaled to like the enemies get scaled to your level, so you can play with people who are different levels to you, and also all of there's personal loot. So everything that drops drops for me, and then it drops another different thing for my friend, sort of thing. So if you open a weapons chest, you all get your own gun out of it, pretty much. So that's what I much prefer. I've pretty much wanted this system since the original Borderlands.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So there's more customization stuff. Like you can to upgrade your car, you can now add like different armor, different like weapons, and you can go into the world and you can find a different car that has
Wait,
that
that's from
stuff.
Star Wars. Hang on.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing from Star Wars.
So you can find this car and then you can like drive it back to a catch a ride station, like, and then I unlock some like different armor for the car, so I can go from a light armored car to a heavily armored car and unlock that ability. I did. So this starts off on Pandora, and you kind of said to me when I was telling you about it, oh, it's Pandora again.
Yeah, I just a bit confused
Because
with that.
I played this on a free weekend, and it was like it was such a good like length of time for a free weekend. I feel like if I
It
actually
wasn't a
bunkered down
weekend.
and played it, it was like it was from Friday to Wednesday. It was like 5 days of Borderlands you could play for free. It was like a big download though, so it was like 80 gigabytes,
Mm.
and I couldn't convince somebody else to play it with me other than my friend Matt, who only played it for a little bit. He was playing on the Epic Game Store. There is cross-platform play between the Epic and the Steam Store, which is cool. So it was exclusive to the Epic Store for a year, so you can cross-platform with that, similar to how it works in Satisfactory. You have to link your Epic account, I believe, to your Steam account, or like you link. It's something like for Satisfactory. You definitely have to make an Epic account, but I think for Borderlands actually you just need a Shift account. I don't think you need an Epic account. Yeah, you need like a Shift Gearbox account for this one. So that's how they do it. The cross-platform play. I think it's a bit different to Satisfactory actually. But yeah. I was playing there's 4 characters you can do. This really fucking creeped me out. This is Uncanny Valley. You have like this. They had like the real life actress doing like the pop-ups for Lilith, and it was like, this looks terrible. I don't know, like from an art direction, like they thought this was cool maybe, but I found it terrible. So I was playing as the Siren with the giant arms. That was the character. I saw that character in the trailer. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool, sort of thing. There's also like Flack, who's a hunter, so he has a pet. And I just got done playing Torchlight and did a pet build, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to rely on AI for this, so I'm going to play a character where I can do everything myself. Because it's like, I love pet builds. Like I'm a Witch Doctor main in Diablo. Like I played pet build in Torchlight, but I do like pet builds where you have the ability to just create a giant army, and it feels really cool to have a big army sort of thing. But on the other hand, there is dynamic destruction. I was showing there. If you've seen the Digital Foundry video, there is like this like dynamic destruction in the world, which is pretty cool in the options. But yeah, I was like, I kind of want to play stuff, so I had like a phase rush ability sort of thing. I think I chose the wrong one. I wanted the one where you like punch the ground and then giant arms came out. Because there's like 3. Because I'm playing like I just call her the Fist Siren. Can't remember what she was called. I think maybe Amara.
Fisting Siren.
Amara or something. Yeah, Fisting's $300. And
yeah, of course.
So there's a weapon. This is what I talk about, like a weapon crate. So now if I pick up these guns and I was like, oh, Matt, come over here, he would go over there and he'd have his own gun sort of thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, instant loot.
They also added an item score as well, which is super useful. So a lot of the time I'd be like, is this gun better than this gun? It's like, well, it has more damage, but it's slower rate of fire and it's got less crit, but it's like, but then they've just added like a baseline item level, so you can go, oh, well, this, if you don't want to like min-max stats, like I like sitting and min-maxing stats sometimes, but it can be pretty tedious if you're like playing a constant looter shooter where you're just changing loot all the time. And like early game, you're obviously going to be changing stuff all the time. I tend
to Borderlands 1. I tend to just stick with the guns I like more than like the best possible stats.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. And you do get the ability to carry guns as well, so you can switch between them.
I don't know if you do this. You're not doing this in this, but in Borderlands 1, I like pick up a weapon, like kind of shoot it, and I go, oh, okay. Like just.
Oh no, I don't.
I don't know how it works.
If I get like a new interesting gun, I'll do that. So like if a boss drops like a kind of legendary epic kind of gun sort of thing.
Not like a generic one.
No, I won't like shoot like a generic. If it's a grey gun, I'll immediately vendor it, because grey guns just don't have anything on them.
I think this might be more valid like for like at the start of the game. You don't know what the types of guns do, maybe.
But this gun here, like it had like a shield when I shot out of it. It was kind of interesting.
Okay.
I haven't learned my like tactical ability, whatever it's called, like my ultimate ability yet, so that's why I'm not using it. This is kind of just like the intro of the game. It's kind of teaching you how to play. Oh, there's so much I want to talk about with this, but you said, oh, it's just Pandora. You do eventually go on a ship, and if you know Sanctuary from Borderlands 2 is the area where is like the town hub, like. Borderlands is kind of like an ARPG in a lot of ways. It's very much like it's pretty much like an action RPG. You have like your standard town and that sort of stuff.
Look at arms.
I think I wanted the ability to have like arms come out the ground and punch people, but I think that's maybe a skill I have to augment later on in my build, which is why, because like on the blue one, you just fire out like a clone of yourself and that deals damage. This one was the grasp one, so this had like a hand that grabbed like one person, so you could lock down like a big enemy
cool.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then the green ones was like you sent out like a phantom fist that punched the ground sort of thing. That was what that one did. And in addition to having your ability, as you get deeper down the tree, there's these free abilities that augment your ability, which augment your action skill. So if you see like on the right here, this like healing skull, when I get to that tier of the skill tree, they'll be like, oh, your ability now heals you for 20% of the damage done. And then as you go deeper into the tree, you unlock more of them, and you can switch between them to change your build without having to spec into them, sort of thing. They're just kind of like baseline as you get higher level. I keep getting distracted. So Sanctuary in Borderlands 2 is like your town. It's your like Diablo town where you craft things and you spend money and you put things in the bank. So Sanctuary in this game is a flying spaceship where it's like a fast travel station between different planets, because in the first couple of missions on this game, you find a map that shows you where all the vaults are with all of the the legendary weapons in the world. If you haven't played Borderlands 2, here's some spoilers for Borderlands 2. I think in Borderlands 1 you open the vault and there's just like a horrible monster. And then in Borderlands 2, it turns Handsome Jack into like a giant dragon monster. So I don't think, because I think the idea is all these vault hunters are coming to get like these epic guns, but I think the idea of the vaults is actually they turn you into the weapons, like a horrific monster sort of thing. Is how they're supposed to work. Right. So here's Lilith. Lilith's always cool. I think she's one of the cooler characters. I always thought Roland was one of the cooler characters as well from the original Borderlands. I did like the characters in Borderlands 2 as well. But it seems like... So I like all the returning characters. I like Claptrap, I like Lilith, right? But then they try and introduce these new characters, and I'm like, they just have zero personality, and I just don't give a shit. Like, I think the story is probably one of the story is one of the weakest things so far in Borderlands 3. I think they're trying to do Handsome Jack again, but they're really doing it terribly, where they're trying to get this brother and sister to be like your arch nemesis, and I want to say the word cringe. It is actually just fucking cringe. Like,
from what I've seen, it really made me cringe. So
because it's meant to be like she's a siren, but she's like one of the most powerful sirens in the world, and it's like they've just written like, oh, the ultimate evil character, whatever, and she can absorb like other sirens' abilities, sort of thing. And it's like, okay, I don't give a shit. And then they have like a brother who's like, oh, I'm a wacky dude. I'm going to record this and put it on my live TV stream.
Oh god!
And it's like, oh my god, I don't know.
That sounds awful.
It is awful, and I wonder the decisions. That was Matt showing off his mech. He wanted to test out his. This is like his ultimate ability, so that character.
He just wasted it.
So I would say it's kind of like Torchlight. The actual like gameplay and like the builds you can do are really interesting, but then the story is just is like super boring. Like they definitely tried with the story, whereas I feel like Torchlight didn't. But then like it's just not. This ain't it, Chief, as the kids would say. I'm a Fortnite gamer. I know what the kids say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is worse than like Torchlight. Torchlight is kind of like inoffensive, but like I find this is offensive. At least from what I've seen.
Like I've been sitting through the cutscenes and listening to what the characters are saying, but I feel like I should skip it more because I don't actually care. Like I've been trying to get into the story, but it's pretty much just the story of every single Borderlands game. There's a vault. You're a vault hunter. You're going to a vault. But then the Borderlands 2 story was like super interesting, especially the DLC was way more interesting than the actual main story. Like in Borderlands 2, you had this idea of you had to protect Sanctuary because Handsome Jack was like he was building this huge corporation, and he had all these robots, and he was trying to take over Pandora, and it was very much like you are the resistance against this big. It was kind of like Star Wars. You were like a resistance against the Empire sort of thing, which it was really cool. And then like I talked to you about some of the DLC, the Dungeons and Dragons DLC, the Tina's Dungeons and Dragons or something, whatever it's called. That DLC, the DLC itself is really fucking amazing, and the story for the DLC is really amazing. Spoiler alert for that DLC. Basically, Tina's getting everyone to play D&D because she doesn't want to deal with the fact that Roland's died. So she's just forcing everyone to play this game, and it's actually quite sad that she's like... And you get to go to this... It's like you're half like... have a voiceover of her explaining what's happening, and then it's happening in real life sort of thing. But then like... Because there's like the DLC and the side quests of Borderlands were like super interesting. And then I was like, okay, I'll try side quest in this game. And then like I went through the boss fight on this level, right? And I was like, oh, there's a side quest where there's a head in a jar and she's being tortured in virtual reality. That sounds really cool. Like that's a really cool concept. And then basically what it does is it put a blue filter on the level, and then I just walked through it backwards. And I was like, oh, okay, you're just wasting my fucking time. Like I understand not every side quest can be, you know, super interesting level, but it just feels kind of formulaic at this point. Like, I don't know. It's a good game. Like, from what I've played, it's fun, and it's a really good game to just fuck about with friends, especially considering you can just pick up and play because of the level scaling and the personal loot. But it's nothing amazing. Like, if you're kind of person who's going to play a single player, just play a better RPG with like an actual story. But
Borderlands 2.
If you I wouldn't recommend playing Borderlands 2 by yourself. Like I think
Okay.
I think they're much better as co-op games.
I really like the Borderlands series as a single player game. So
right, but I would say, but you would agree with me if I said there's just much better RPGs you could be playing out there that have like interesting gunplay as well. So
yeah.
I don't know, like Shadow Warrior. Shadow Warrior is an interesting RPG with gunplay that you could play instead. Maybe I'll be talking about that in the future.
Yeah, I guess we will.
TM. Is there anything else to say? I could go on forever about Borderlands 3 because I really love Borderlands 2.
The Borderlands franchise is really cool. Like the cool concept and a really cool set of characters. At least there were.
Sometimes I think it's hard to tell what I thought of a game if I'm just like shitting on it for like... if I'm like talking about it very passionately, I'm saying some of the stuff I don't like, but I'm saying a lot of stuff I don't like because of how much I liked the second game. Yeah. But if you've never played the second game, or you could look past some of the stuff I'm mentioning, I think there's still a solid game in Borderlands 3, and I think a lot of the quality of life improvements they've made are really fun. I don't know anything about the later game. I don't know anything about the DLC. That might be really cool. But yeah, Borderlands 3. If you like Borderlands and you like the Borderlands gameplay, it's more Borderlands. It's simply what it is. If you like the Borderlands gameplay, it's more Borderlands. If you really enjoyed the Borderlands story and you were immersed in the world and you're looking for like the next RPG game where you're going to get immersed in the world and you're really going to enjoy the story, this isn't the game for you. You know, look for something else.
I think for me, it's a bit of a turn off that the story's not so good, but I think I'd still be willing to play this game personally.
Yeah, I mean, I played it for a free weekend, but if I own the game, I would definitely keep playing it with friends, sort of thing.
Yeah. Again, it's more just a shame that the story's bad, not like a massive turn off. Well, not like a definitely no from me.
Yeah, this is a half recommend sort of thing.
Yeah.
Fun co-op game with friends. If you're looking for a single player game, probably not. And then we'll move on to the next Tangerine. I've been playing Terraria for once. I said I was going to play this because Journey's End patch came out. I believe it is. Was it 1.14 is like the Journey End patch?
I don't remember.
I believe it is, but I could be wrong. But I've been wanting to play Terraria for a long time.
Yeah.
But I haven't because I played it with people who've played it before and they just sped ahead of me and I didn't understand what was happening and I felt like I couldn't really get into the game. Like, but now I've actually played it for a while. Like, this is some footage I took from when I was playing it early on, but now I have like, I've fought the Eye a couple of times, which I think is one of the first boss you fight. We've got some NPCs in the town. We've built a trench around the corruption so it doesn't take over the world. You know, I've killed a lot. Like here, slimes were a problem in my wooden armor, but now I've got like I had a magical staff, and I've got like full mana now, and like slimes aren't really a problem. But then as soon as you get deeper, that's when more stuff becomes a problem, sort of thing, right? But yeah, it's just digging down. So if you see at the top right next to my inventory, you have like the achievement system, and that's kind of trying to show you what you should do next. So it starts off like build a workbench, like it kind of pushes you how to play a little bit, which I like for the new, because I feel like the new player experience for Terraria is pretty bad, and I feel like that was the thing that was stopping me from playing the game originally. I think that's something they were trying to change with the Journey's World update, was to try and add some more accessibility feature, or make it so people could change how they make the game maybe a bit easier to have more people get into the game, sort of thing. I am playing this on just I think it's medium core or something. It's
okay.
So I think it might be the one below me. It's not journey mode. It's the one below medium core, I think. So when you die on the difficulty I'm playing on, you drop all your money. And money's quite big in this game because it's kind of the system that replaces XP. So when you kill enemies, they drop money, and then you get NPCs and you spend that on various stuff, health potions, cosmetics, various gun weapons, various useful stuff you get from money. It's like one of the core gameplay loops is digging holes, getting new materials, and then making money by killing mobs. It's kind of how they do it in Terraria. I found the block placing system really, really hard to get in, like really, really hard to get used to initially. I think you're going to struggle with it as well. Like if you play Terraria, you're going to get really frustrated in the beginning.
I played a little bit before. I remember the block placing being absolutely awful.
I still don't like the UI. I think the crafting UI is really bad. I haven't looked into any mods yet. I'm just gonna vanilla it, and then maybe there's like a UI mod. Oh, so if you go deep enough, sometimes like giant worms come out of the dirt and start attacking you. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
So you can hear him coming though, right?
Yeah, he's going like kind of like digging sounds. I can't really do it that well, but
you're not a
I'm a Foley actor. I make Foley noises.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
There's some interesting stuff like you can learn. Just like if you hold shift, you can just immediately equip a torch and place it. That's pretty useful to know early game.
Oh, okay.
I wish there was more tutorial in the early game of Terraria. I think that would.
Yeah.
But as I said, like you have like the build a workbench, and then it's like build an anvil, and it's like find a crystal heart, and it's like what the hell is a crystal heart? So if you don't know, like,
would it make sense like a sort of like a quest sort of system? Like I realize it's not an RPG, but like wouldn't that actually kind of make sense?
There is quests, and I think they're fishing quests.
Oh my god!
And I think to get a lot of fishing quests, you have to go to the edge of the world and speak to the fisherman. Is how it works. Right. Basically, Tony, I went in completely blind, and like 90% of the time, I've been on the Terraria wiki trying to figure out things. I've made a Gamepedia account because to turn on dark mode for the wiki, they're like you have to sign up to a Gamepedia account, which is fine.
You gave into that.
Which is fine because I know Gamepedia is a closed market and has the monopoly on all of the wikis. So I'm like, well, if I get like a Gamepedia account, I'm probably going to use it on a different wiki. Like I use it on the League of Legends esports wiki as well, which I have dark mode on now. So it's not too bad.
I find that weird because like the modern Minecraft wikis tend to be dark mode just like because of the color palette they tend to use. So I find that really weird.
Yeah, the modded one, but then like the Minecraft wiki is like looking into the sun, like bright.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
I'm always looking at the Minecraft wiki as well, and that's a game I understand a lot.
Right?
So
Okay.
yeah. Well, I usually forget a recipe, and then I have to be like, oh, how do I craft this? Oh, okay, yeah, I
There's
remember now.
okay.
The thing,
There's a recipe book though.
yeah, but it's only recipes that you kind of,
It's the recipe you can craft or have.
yeah. But
Been
then
able,
sometimes I want to craft something that I don't that I don't have the stuff for, but I want to know
okay.
what to get.
We need to go and get to know how to craft it. Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay,
feel
fair
like
enough.
the recipe system in Minecraft, the recipe book is nice, but it's not like perfect for what I want.
It's no JEO, the mod that just shows
Yeah,
you all the recipes. That's really good.
isn't it Jabba?
Just another barrel, something, something. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what am I thinking of?
Not good as the
NEI
storage
is
box.
NEI what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, NEI was replaced with JEO at some point. I don't
Oh,
know if it
okay.
still is the one.
Right. Okay. So
I don't know what the current one's called, so maybe it's a different one altogether. I have no idea.
well, yeah, I feel like when you're recording any survival game, it's going to be a lot of me just digging or like when something interesting happens.
So you defeated the first boss then, at least, right? Or have you gone further
We
than that? I don't
farmed it
actually
like
know.
a couple times. Like he's pretty easy to
Yeah.
kill now.
So,
We've killed the slime boss, and we can go and make more slimes
so
as well.
you're kind of progressing, finding like rare items or like trying to like kill certain things, be able to like actually get to the bosses and things.
So
Is that the idea?
yeah, and there's also like ore that can only be mined by
Yeah.
So the first tier you get given is copper, and then getting a tier above that, all it does is it just increases the stats. So armor will have more defense, and then tools
Right.
will be faster, and then it isn't until you get to gold tier, which then you once you get gold tier, you can mine stuff that you couldn't possibly mine before. It's like I think it's called Crimtane ore, and like it's you can mine meteors. It's like the tier that we're at. Like we have the gold technology, and then eventually
Right.
we'll go to hell, and then we'll be able to get a hell forge and craft hell stuff. Um, but I feel like the great thing about this game is there's so much fucking stuff. Like compared to like something like
Yeah.
Minecraft, because of how easy it is, you just make a sprite for something. You can put so many items in this game, and because it's like a weird like more like an RPG than Minecraft, like you can just put tons of different great little fun little items in it. Like,
Yeah.
I did look into yo-yos, Tony, but I could either have
You have to
I could have a Crimtane
shit
yo-yo.
Oh, you can that.
Yeah, I can make one out of Crimtane, which is alright. But then I was like, I've got a staff now. I don't really need one. And I've got like I had like a Crimtane bow. This is a way you get stuff as well. You go underground and you find good stuff in chests. There's actually like a lot of the progression through the game is just by mining and finding random chests. Whereas I feel like modded Minecrafts can be like that a lot of times, where it's not supposed to be, where you can find random chests and then you find like some crazy item that isn't supposed to
It's
be in the
not
loot
balanced
table.
and modded like this is.
But this is actually that balance. Like, so
Yeah.
my objective was to find a corrupted heart, and what that does is it allows you to break it, and then that increases. It gives you 20 life, which gives you another health bar. And so it's kind of teaching you how to like increase your health, sort of thing. But
Right.
also, if you also crush 3 of them in the corrupted world, you can summon a boss. So it's also trying to teach you to break corrupted hearts, so that eventually you go to the corrupted world and you break the corrupted hearts, and then you summon a boss. Like it's trying to like. I feel like I'd like Terraria to be more hand. I like it to hold my hand more, but I think
At least at the start.
it's trying very much to very, very, very subtly push you in the right direction, but it's so subtle sometimes that it's just, without being on the Terraria wiki, and I've got like 10 pages open, I wouldn't have figured where it was even trying to push me, sort of thing. So yeah, I feel like that was another like I feel like Warframe's another game where you need like the wiki open permanently to try and figure out what to do. Like I don't know.
Guess. I don't know. I don't have any like personal experience with it, so I have no idea how true that is.
Like, I don't
So
mind games that start out really hard, but then once you learn what to do in them, you can kind of figure it out
it
yourself
should have a
from
good
there.
tutorial to
Like
at least
a
explain the
game I think
basics
of,
so you can
like
learn.
Sea of Thieves was like, in the beginning I wanted to quit because it was so hard, but as soon as you start figuring stuff out, like, you can quickly learn the rest of it yourself, and it
Yeah,
really rewards exploration, which, as I said before, I really enjoy games that reward exploration. So me
yeah.
saying that, like, I do enjoy like going deeper into like Terraria and finding stuff and going, oh, I didn't know this existed. This is really cool. But then you need to find that balance between
Well,
allowing the
I think
player
early on,
exploration and also not making the player feel like they have no idea where they're supposed to be going, sort of thing.
yeah, I said early on. I think it's the most vital part because that's the part you need to teach the player the most. Not necessarily, well, maybe not necessarily the most, but the most broad things you need to teach, like about the world and how the game works. And then
Mm.
then if you teach them the basics of everything, they can then figure out everything else themselves.
I've joined the furry gang in Terraria because we got
Yeah,
like an NPC who's like a fox, and she sells you this net which you can catch critters with, and critters are worth like tons of money. They're worth like 5 silver each. So most of my time I'm just running around capturing like birds and fucking bunny rabbits on the surface. And one of the
you
early
become
game
the true naturist
one of the
furry.
early game grappling hooks you can get is the bunny hook, which allows you to grapple to trees. So that was like something I picked up very early on because like grappling hooks are very useful. Like climbing hooks allow you to climb up walls. There's like I just like literally like yesterday got the ability to like double jump. Like you have an equipment tab and
Oh,
there's so much stuff you can equip. There's like a mount slot. You can get mounts in this game. There's thousands of items, and that's one of the coolest things about Terraria is like because of its art style, how easy it is to put. It's just sprites. It makes it so easy to put stuff into the game. Like one of its biggest
yeah.
strengths is there is so much in the game, sort of thing. So, although you may struggle to get into it, if you can just bear through it, maybe read a couple of wiki pages, I would definitely recommend playing this game because
Or
I've played quite a lot of it now, and
I,
it's really fun.
I would suggest like this is how I learn anyway. Like I kind of like watching like either a tutorial or like a early game walkthrough, just like getting an idea of how mechanics all work and
Yeah,
how like to
I
expect it to
kind of
play.
prefer going in a bit blinder and then figuring it out
I get
myself.
really frustrated
Even
though.
if I have to go to a wiki, I would rather. I do learn better through videos, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay, here my thing is that the wikis tend to be just the same information that is being spoiled as like the walkthroughs. So I don't see much of a
yeah, but
difference. It's just a
I
different way of
only go
learning
to
it.
a wiki if I have to, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
We're building a shaft here, and then this is our little house, and you have. So another way that you can learn things, which I didn't know until it was pointed out to me, you can speak to Scott the guide, and he will give you tips. And if you have an item and you don't know what it crafts, if you give it to Scott, he will tell you everything that you can craft that item into. So that is
Right.
like pretty useful, sort of thing. Like if
Why
you
not
don't
just
want to
in the
use a
UI
wiki,
itself though?
if you don't want it, yeah, I think that would be more useful. But if you wanted to do it that way, you can go up to Scott and give him something. Like it can be a bit annoying because he'll be like, "Hey, this is everything you can craft with it," and then show you like 200 things, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I have no idea what that means." Um, I don't like the crafting system that much. I think that's a kind of a weakness for me personally. Like you have to when you're stood next to something, you can craft stuff from it. Like you have to be stood next to a workbench, and then it changes what you can craft, but doesn't show you what you need to craft something. So you can just
Yeah.
go and stand next to a bunch of different buildings, trying to figure out like what you need to craft something, and then you have like this scroll down list. There is a crafting icon here, like this hammer and stick. You can click on that, and it just brings up like a big window on your screen, which I found a lot easier to use than the scrolling crafting table. But I guess that's for like players
Yeah.
who like really know what they're doing, sort of thing. But yeah, I guess not much else to say. This game's really fun. I definitely still highly recommend this if you're looking for a survival game, especially since this is the final update of Terraria. So now's probably the best time to get into it because there's no more stuff that you're going to have to relearn, right? So yeah, definitely check out Terraria if you're looking for a survival game, and maybe check out Borderlands if you like Borderlands and you're looking for a co-op game to play with a friend. That's the end of it. Goodbye.
Bye.